morning. Welcome to another segment of Two Chefs in the Doc. My name is Columbus Batiste. I am the doc in this combination, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to another segment. I am joined by two fabulous women, right? The first one is none other than the fabulous celebrity chef, Cynthia. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yes, and we can't forget about the chef mommy, Heather Martin, the singing chef. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
That's good. Happy belated Mother's Day to you and all the other mothers out there, all the aunties out there. It was hopefully you all had a wonderful month last week too as well. Did you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a great weekend.
That's great. I think one of our chefs had a recent birthday. How old did you turn? You look like you turned about 21.
50.
Get out of here. Come on now.
Black.
Wow, you look amazing.
Actually saying it out loud too, like publicly. So yes, I'm 50 years old. God is great.
Oh, amen. Yes. You look great. You look fabulous. So, oh goodness. So, man, I am so excited about this segment. And so just to kind of start off before we go around Robin and talk about what you're going to prepare and let folks know about you a little bit again, we should, for those of you out there who don't know, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it is also Stroke Awareness Month. And one of the things that 2020 revealed of the many things is that there is indeed a mental health epidemic inside this country. And it's a dirty secret that usually in communities of color, people don't like to talk about things of stress, anxiety, depression, and these are real issues that are there. And so that's what the Green Flyer is for recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month. But we can't forget about cardiovascular disease, which is at my heart, right? That's really why my passion point. And so cardiovascular disease extends from the head to toe, and we know that it can contribute to stroke. And so this segment is really combining those two things along with our idea of springing forward and rejuvenating ourselves and getting going. And so I'm excited to learn. I don't even know what these women, these fabulous chefs have prepared for us today. I don't even know. So they're going to keep me off guard. I have to try and tap into my memory banks about the benefits of whatever they're going to put out today.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be surprised at what one another does.
I love it. Tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, Heather, music is so soothing to the soul, right? So studies have shown that just singing alone can help to quell the anxiety, can quell the fears. And so it's such a wonderful therapeutic approach. And Cynthia, the benefits and the power of nutrition, really in terms of how it can shape from the aspect of a person's culture, as well as to really shaping in terms of their mental health. People turn to food when they're stressed, when they're depressed, and so forth. So I want you both to speak about that a little bit before we dive into the cooking segment.
Well, Heather, you can start.
One of the things, there's a song that says, sing when you're happy, sing when you're sad. My mom growing up would always teach us to sing as a way to comfort ourselves. And I think that it stuck with me. That's why people sing their lullabies to their kids before they go to sleep. There's so much comfort in music, and what we listen to is so important. And so it can be mood changing, mood boosting, just refreshing, that you can hear a song and it could transport you all the way back to when you were in your childhood, or when your first love, or any of that. So music is so powerful in being able to help us to regulate our mood. So it's good for us to be careful about what we listen to, but to also use music as a resource. And for my children, I often use music as a resource to make them happy. If they're waking up ugly, I have to show you guys one day how I wake them up sometimes, and it just makes them crack up laughing, but it's by song. So song and music has been known to do so much to transform us and to take us to places, to lift our mood and to help us, get through whatever we're going through.
Love it. Well, you don't want to hear me sing because that may mess up your mood, but I'm gonna take it from a true singer for sure. It's gonna do something that's beneficial for the heart. Love it. Cynthia, how about you?
Well, for many, food is a love language. And it is comfort. So many of us, with the days that we face, you're talking about mental health, we're stressed throughout the day. And when we come home, we want to be comforted. We want that thing to make us feel safe and secure. And a lot of times the food that we choose that brings us comfort is not best for our bodies. And so that's the challenge, that for many of us, the love language is hurting us. So what we're trying to do with Two Chefs in the Dock is to teach a new love language that is not only delicious, but it's healthy for you as well. Throughout the African diaspora, our food is full of love. Why? Because it takes so much effort traditionally to make so many of these meals. The world that we live in now with all this fast food, processed, preservative packed food, that's not the culture from which we came. Our culture is one where fufu is pounded fresh and it takes effort. If you've ever seen that, go to YouTube and YouTube it, and you'll see the effort that goes into preparing food. Love is put into it, but we have taken shortcuts in the Western world, and we have undone a lot of the good that comes from those foods. So that is our challenge. And as people of the African diaspora, we are fortunate to have that cultural and culinary empathy to reach back to as we reinform our love language of food.
Love it, love it. Phenomenal, phenomenal. So with that being said, what are we cooking up today?
Well, Heather, do you want to go first?
I'll let you go, Sim. Go ahead.
Well, today, I was trying to think of something that I love to prepare that's super simple. It is a lighter type of fare. It's something that children can help their mothers cook. I'm sure if Heather has not done this, this is something that she will do with her kids because it's really fun. It's extremely adaptable because you can use all kinds of different ingredients. And while I'm doing a savory version of it today, you can also do a sweet version incorporating fruit. So what I'm doing today is I'm making fresh rolls. And my fresh rolls are going to feature, we've got carrots, we've got avocado, we've got some fresh basil, we've got bell peppers, scallion, fresh mint, mango, cucumber. We even have a little tofu in here. And you can use all of these things. You can use some of them. Like I said, you could make this with fruit. You could do pineapple spears and apple spears and you could do melon, you could do all of those things in there. And the dip I'm doing for this one is a peanut dip. But if you're doing fruit, you could use some yogurt, sweetened with a little bit of honey and some fresh ginger. So you can go either way with this. It's the kind of thing that you can just go into your refrigerator and whatever veggies you have, you can make this. So it's a great snack. And it's low in calorie, full of flavor, and heart healthy.
I need to make that this week. We're all trying to be the slimmer version of ourselves for the summer, so this is perfect.
Yeah. And let me just add one more thing. It is actually gluten-free as well. I'm using rice paper. You can get this at any Asian market, or actually most international aisles, even at Kroger's and Publix, you can get it. This is from white rice. But if you want to go a little healthier, you can always get brown rice wrappers. So they have those. So that's an option. So that's what I'm going to be doing today.
Love it. Yes, yes, yes. Heather, how about you?
I wanted to mention that this week is also, last week was, but the whole month is Food Allergy Awareness Month. And that's kind of my thing, is to try and educate a lot of people and educate everybody about the seriousness of food allergies, because of course that's what we deal with over here. So I wanted to make something light, but something fun for kids. So today, and Cynthia talked about how we've gotten away from making things ourselves and buying them boxed. And, for us and in my family, I was sad when I found out my kids had food allergies, because like traditional snacks that people can pick up for their kids, like goldfish crackers and that was like something that I looked forward to giving to my kids, and they can't have it because it has like milk, and that's a no in our family. No milk for us. We're allergic to it. And now since I'm vegan, it's just a no. So today I'm going to teach us how to make your own goldfish crackers.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
Love it.
show you how to make goldfish crackers. And it's very simple. And I'm also going to, a big thing right now that I've been doing with my kids to trick them, and you can do it with adults as well. It's a huge thing. Everybody's making these charcuterie boards where you just put things out and have people grab. But now, since it's COVID, I mean, you could certainly do it in your own home, which I highly recommend, because you can get kids to eat things that they wouldn't normally eat, and adults, because it just looks so pretty when it's displayed. So today I wanted to give some examples of snacks that are healthy and quick and easy to make just by roasting them, and a simple pickling them. And I'm going to arrange them for us on the board and just take you through a quick showing you how to make the goldfish crackers.
Excellent. That's exciting. Yes. I love goldfish crackers.
No, this is great. I mean, that's one of the common questions I get all the time is, what do I eat on the go? What can I eat that's healthy, that's maybe in the form of a snack? And so I think that both of these recipes are timely, because that's what people turn to when they're stressed, or things that they can grab real quickly. And so if it can generate, as far as the healthy hormones and minerals, providing the minerals in the body, it can help fight this thing of mental health. So loving to see it. Can't wait to dig in and see what you guys are gonna make. Let's see it. Let's watch it.
Okay. Well, I mean, who do you want me to go first?
Yeah. Kick us off. Kick us off.
So I have a little bit of hot water here, because you need hot water to make these rolls. There's a couple things I want to say. I am also going to be using these rice sticks as a filler for the noodle, but if you want to get away from all of the rice, you can use bean sprouts in the place of these. The only thing you have to be cautious of is making sure that everything you have, you've patted it dry very well, because these papers don't do well with moisture. And they can actually work overnight. They can stay overnight, but not much longer than that. But to get them to stay as long as you'd like them to, you've got to make sure that you don't have too much. So what I did is I soaked these in boiling water for 10 minutes. And this is what they look like when they're done.
Noodles.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my scissors and cut them up a little bit, so we don't have really long strands. I'm just going to cut them a little bit. Now, some people, when they do this, they actually season these noodles to give the noodles some flavor. I don't like to do that. I feel like I want to build my layers. You guys are going to be tired of hearing me say that. I say it all the time. I like to build my layers of flavor other ways than with salt or with seasoning. So with this, one of the ways we're building layers of flavor in this is we have basil, we have mint, we have mango, we have avocado, we've got the scallions, it's going to give it a little bit of spiciness. We've got the bell peppers, it's going to give a little bit of sweetness. And we're going to do a dip at the end, but I honestly feel like these are so good on their own, you don't necessarily need a dip. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our dip. Our dip is going to be a nut butter dip, but if you have an allergy to nuts, you don't have to use it. You can just use agave, a little bit of gluten-free soy sauce, a little bit of ginger, and you've got a nice light dip. If you want something with a little more, back to it, then that's when you put in your nuts. So here's our rice paper. I'm simply going to put it in this water. It's warm to hot, not really hot. Okay, then I'm going to lay this down on my board. You all may not be able to see well because
we can see good. It looks great.
Yes.
And so what I'm doing is I'm actually going to use a leaf of lettuce. I like to use this as a bed for everything that I plate in here because it helps me as kind of a guide. I place everything on top of this and it stays nice and neat for when I roll it. So the first thing I'm going to do I'm just going to use a little bit of these noodles because I've got so many different ingredients. You only need to use a little bit of everything or else you wouldn't be able to roll it. So I'm going to use a full basil leaf. That goes down. I'm going to use a piece of avocado. If you're not an avocado lover, by all means, you don't have to use it.
Love avocado.
I'm a California girl and I'm obsessed with avocado. So we've got some carrot there. We've got some cucumber. We're going to do a few pieces of mango. I'm adding some mint to this. It's a small piece of mint. Some scallion.
Yes.
And I'm going to add some tofu. You don't have to add tofu. I'm adding it. I have pressed the water out of the tofu. That is something that you should always do. My nose is itching. And
is it firm or is it soft tofu?
It is extra firm. It is extra firm tofu. You always want to use extra firm or firm tofu in this type of application. Otherwise, it will just be like mush.
Yeah, we don't like mush.
We don't like mush. So now we're going to take the sides and bring them in. And then we're going to go from the bottom. And we're going to put our fingers in here to kind of like pull everything in. And then we're just going to gently roll it. And voila.
Love it.
That is awesome.
That was easy. You made it look easy, at least.
It's so easy. It's something that's fun. I'm going to do one with the brown rice paper. It's something that's fun to do with your kids. You know, and because then they can make it exactly what they want it to be.
Now, you know, I mean, one of the things that I'm seeing, and you all kind of are, this is like, I feel this is a pop quiz for me, but what I'm seeing from a lot of the ingredients that you pulled in there, the mint leaves, the lettuce, the carrots, all the mango, that what you're doing is you're having a robust amount of vitamin B's in there, your B vitamins, your folates, you're having your vitamin C in there. And so what these things show, magnesium, is that these things have been shown to be beneficial for your mood. They've been shown to be beneficial for anxiety and helping to decrease the burden of anxiety when you have built up stores in your body. And so that's where the power is. And so one of the things that we did inside of another project, the Slave Food Conversations, we had Dr. Uma Naidu. For those of you who haven't seen that, go back and check out that episode. And she wrote a book called This Is Your Brain on Food. And in this book, she outlines really a lot of the benefits. She teases out of literature, a lot of the things that Chef Cynthia is doing right now in terms of creating is that you can actually create mood-busting foods in your kitchen. And so that's why this is additionally powerful right here.
Beautiful. And it's beautiful. It's you know, it's easy to make. It's tasty. You know, and you would go in, I mean, a package of, I would say all of these ingredients probably ran me about $12. And I have enough to make, there are about 30 in here.
Wow.
Just in this.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
So, you know, and again, you can use whatever you have at home, whatever veggies you have at home. Whatever fruit you have at home, you can use it and have a great little treat.
That's incredible. Someone asked a question. They said, you know, is the tofu cooked?
No, the tofu is not cooked, but you can use cooked tofu. You just have to make sure that you press all the liquid out, because what will happen as this sits, the liquid will drain and it will tear through the rice paper. So that's why I have not. Now there are tofus that you can buy that are already seasoned. Trader Joe's, a lot of places have them. They're already seasoned. But I like to avoid that because then that's introducing salt. Yes. I just like to build the flavor just naturally, and we have a little dip that's optional if somebody wants it. So this is the kind of snack that no matter what a person's issue is, they can eat if they have, high cholesterol, if they have high blood pressure, they don't have to worry about what's in here because everything is nutrient dense and good.
Absolutely. And just to tag on to that, not only do they not have to worry about it, it's actually beneficial for their body. It means it's going to help them fight disease. And that's really the key of what we're looking at inside many of these instances, is the fact the foods that we eat are tremendous. Now, I'm gonna tell you, so a lot of people, when they go and they have this type of roll, they like it fried. But one of the things that's beneficial from what you pointed out is that we're not using the increased oils. We're not raising the temperature on this, which can lead to other ill effects in the body, especially if one has hypertension, your propensity towards stroke and diabetes and coronary artery disease. So you're decreasing this liquid fat that's unnecessary, and you're reverting to whole foods, which is the power that's there, and they're closest to their natural form. That's a wonderful recipe.
Absolutely. So that is that part. Now let me do my dip real quick so we can swing it over to Heather, and then I'll just keep rolling these, until I can't roll anymore. But so our dip here, for our dip, I mentioned you don't have to use nut butter, but I have here sunflower butter. I do have peanut. A lot of people avoid peanut because it's acidic. This is just an option. You can use tahini as well. But today, we're going to use a little bit of sun butter. I'm going to show you how easy this is to make this dip. So I'm going to use, this is the equivalent of like a tablespoon. I have a little bit of pureed garlic and ginger. This is about a half teaspoon each of garlic and ginger. Again, building layers of flavor. To this, I'm going to add a little bit of sweetness with some agave. You could also use honey if you wanted. My salt is going to come from organic tamari gluten-free soy sauce. Just a little tip there, probably about a half teaspoon of that. And I'm just going to start to mix this together. Add a little bit of water to thin it out. You can also use a whisk for this. I have a whisk here I'm going to use. And to this, I'm just going to add a little bit of sesame oil. And the reason I'm doing that is for flavor, really. But you see how this has, it's nice and creamy. I use about a half teaspoon of sesame oil. Continue to mix this. And then you've got a delicious dip. Depending on how you want it, you could make this a little runnier. If you wanted a little thicker, you could add. I don't necessarily use hard measurements for this because I think some people like it sweeter. Some people like it, with more of a nut flavor. Some people like it with more ginger. You just play around with it to get it to what you want it to. But I use about a tablespoon of nut butter, a teaspoon of sweetener, a half teaspoon of something that gave it some salt, which was the soy-free tamari, and then a little bit of oil, a little bit of ginger and garlic, and that's when you get the perfect dipping sauce for these fresh rolls. So just imagine, that's yummy. Just imagine, if I do say so myself, that you've got all this bursting flavor in this fresh roll, and then you've got this dip that you can dip it into that's just going to heighten the flavor and heighten the nutrition as well. Because it's healthy fat. It's fat, but it's healthy fat.
That's awesome.
It is.
It sounds really delicious too.
We're just going to put this in the center. I'm going to continue to roll while Heather does her thing.
I love it. I love it. I'm just going to chime in. One of the things too, as well, that I've learned in dibbling and dabbling in culinary development is the fact that when the oil can coat your taste buds and coat your mouth, and it can alter your flavor, the taste buds, and so you end up having to increase the amount of salt and sodium to bring the flavor out through the oils. And so I think what I love about the fact of trying to minimize the amount of oils that you all kind of espouse, it's so much power. It's so powerful that it's going to be additive for those who are trying to perhaps lose a little weight and get into their swimwear for the summer. It's beneficial for the heart and the endothelium, and it's powerful in terms of allowing you to really taste the flavor of the foods. And one of the beautiful things about what I just saw is that you really truly had the color of the rainbows. You had the greens and the reds and the whites and the yellows, and that's where the power lies as far as in diversifying the foods that you eat. So this is wonderful. Great job.
No, I just learned something from me. I did not know that oil deadens the senses, and that's why things that you want them to be sweeter or saltier. I did not know that.
Yes. I learned that some years ago from another chef who brought that to my attention, and so it's something that I've tried to adopt on top of the other principles of minimizing the amount, so I can really taste the food. And all of a sudden, it's like the flavors started just bursting in my mouth. I could taste the bitter greens mixed with the sweets, mixed with the sours, and all of a sudden, it's just like it was powerful.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I noticed since becoming vegan, if I go somewhere and they tell me something is vegan and it's not, like, even if it's a vegetable and it's been prepared in like real butter, it literally coats the inside of my mouth. And it's strange that you can, because you're eating differently, you can taste you can taste more, like everything just wakes up. So that is definitely true.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
So
you're
is it
up. Yes.
Okay. So I'm always, this is a kid-friendly house, and you know, I like a lot of the things that my kids eat as well. So I just wanted to show you guys this. I have prepared today a really amazing tomato basil soup that's super simple, and I did it in my blender. I just threw roasted some Roma tomatoes, and I threw in like a stalk of celery. I had some garlic, and what else did I put in? An entire sweet onion. I blended it all up, and then I threw it in my pot, and I put a little coconut milk in it, and that is what we're gonna put our goldfish on top of. But I'll tell you about everything I have here at my Ring doorbell. Sorry guys, that was really loud.
That's okay. Tell them they can't have any yet until at least we get some. Whoever's coming to the house, look, back up. It's ours first.
So guys, these goldfish are really simple, and I'm gonna do it TV magic style so you can see. But you're gonna take a cup of flour, and you'll want to put it in. I have a food processor here, which I find to be the easiest. But if you don't have a food processor, you can probably do it in a blender, or you can even go old school and do it by hand. So I just use a cup of flour, and this is regular old all-purpose flour. But if you have a gluten intolerance or allergy, then you can definitely sub this for 1 cup of gluten-free flour. I have some nutritional yeast flakes, 2 tablespoons. For the color, I am going to use turmeric. So I have about 1/8, 1/4 of turmeric. And I'm sure the doc is getting ready to go in on all of these ingredients. The turmeric is one of the mood boosting ingredients that I was looking at.
Yes.
I have some salt. I use pink Himalayan sea salt. It's still probably a little less salty than the regular iodine salt, but it has more minerals in it, which is why I use it. Still salty, but not too salty for what we're doing here, and some crackers. And I have a little bit of onion powder. I think about 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, maybe less than that. And I have some pepper. You don't have to use the pepper. My kids don't like the pepper, so right now I'm going to eliminate the pepper because I've already made some with pepper. And then you're going to need some really cold water, because essentially what you're doing is, you know how you make a crust, and you use cold water and some very cold butter. I have some vegan butter here. You're gonna need 5 tablespoons of vegan butter. And you wanna put it in there and pulse it until it looks like sand. And I don't know how much of this you can see because I have a second camera, but I'm still trying to work it out, guys. So maybe the next time my second camera will work better so you can see what I'm doing. So then you're gonna put this in there and pulse, and you wanna do it until the mixture is like sand-like. Excuse me, I'm dropping stuff. So I'm gonna plug in my food processor. And I already have the margarine in there. And what I'm gonna do is put 3 tablespoons. I've got some ice cold water. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna pulse that again until it's like sandy. And literally it turns like sand. If you've ever made like a crust, like a galette or a pie, you know that you want to kind of keep that flour cold so that it doesn't get all melty schmelty. And this is what it's gonna look like. Super, super easy. It's sandy. Can you see how sandy it looks? And then you're gonna take it out. You're gonna have a boy, I'm making a mess. My seamlessness is not working today. But you're gonna roll it out onto your counter, and you need to have flour, a lightly floured surface. And I'm gonna skip this part, but well, I want to show you because it's just so cute. Now, you don't have to have, you can use what, it doesn't have to be goldfish. You can use whatever cookie cutters you have. But because I wanted goldfish, I got on Amazon and I ordered these cute little guys, these goldfish cutters. And when it's all said and done, you want to set your before you start this, set your oven to 375, and then you're gonna roll them out. It is probably beneficial to divide your dough into 2 balls, so because it makes a lot of crackers. And you're gonna bake them. And what I did today was something funny. I tried something new because, you know, goldfish has all, I won't roll it out here just for the sake of time. And I'm gonna clean this up a little bit so I can show you. But goldfish, they have all kinds of colors, the rainbow colors. So today I took some cabbage, red cabbage, and I juiced it in my juicer. And so I was trying to make some of them look, but this is what your goldfish crackers, I put little, you can do it with your kids, but they look like goldfish.
Oh, wow.
Can you see my goldfish?
Oh, that's great.
And they're so good. They taste cheesy. They're crunchy, just like the goldfish. The difference is you made them, so you know what's in them, not all of these extra preservatives and all of this crazy stuff that people are feeding their kids without knowing it. All the color can change your mood, whether you are an adult or a kid. If you have some hyperactivity in your, you know, if you're hyper or ADHD or any of that, you want to stay away from things that have red #1 and all those different colorings that you see in foods that don't even make sense. They are very mood and mental, you know, altering. So I'm striving to eliminate those things in my home. So that's one thing. So when my kids get home, I try and have something on the counter for them to eat. I don't know about you guys. They come home like they never ate in their lives. So they're always
not just the kids. I come home like that too.
You too.
I come home hangry. I'm like looking around. They're like, hold up, wait a minute, give them something to eat first before he starts saying.
Does too. And so what I'm going to show you, I just want to show you some other things that I did. So this is a super easy snack that you can do, a goldfish. If you're allergic to the milk and the products that are in regular goldfish, or you just want to try it, I highly recommend trying it. It is amazing and it's yummy. And I added some other stuff to it. So these are kind of rainbow looking because I put that cabbage juice in it. Another favorite snack that I just throw in the oven for my kids, and they love it, and I'm not even joking, is garbanzo beans.
Yes.
You can roast them, and you don't have to use just a tiny bit of oil if we're trying to get away from the oil. And as I do this, I'm gonna start forming my board here. I'm just gonna lay it down and show you just how, and I'm sure it could be prettier, but I'm gonna do it in a hurry so that I don't take up too much time. But this is I've roasted them and I season them. You can do simple spices. Cynthia has a ton of spices that are like you can use her quarantine curry or help me out, Cynthia. What's the other ones?
Well, the Habesha spice is good too, but I wanted to connect the dots with something that you just said about the toasted chickpeas.
Yes.
In my mother's country, and actually throughout the Caribbean, there's something called hard chana, which is that. It's
really?
roasted chickpeas. That's a snack throughout the diaspora. So there you go.
What?
I did not know that. I have been like telling people they have to do the roasted chickpeas. You add the flavors and everything of that sort to it, and it's incredible. And I'm gonna give you one tip.
Yeah.
When you actually cook the garbanzos, it tastes even way better than the canned ones that you rinse and just throw inside the oven.
Absolutely agree.
Yes,
they have much more flavor and they're less adulterated. They haven't been tampered with and sitting in a can for a long time. But it's okay if you do use them. I use the ones that are low sodium and I still rinse them off to get some of that sodium off of it. Another thing that my kids like, and I don't know if they've lost some of their crispiness, but I'm gonna put them on my board too. And I try to keep them long and whole, but they've lost their crispiness because they've been sitting next to the pot here that's been letting some steam go. So that wasn't very smart. But I kept the Lacento kale, the big old kale, in like big leaves instead of like tearing them up. But you can feel free to tear them up. And I'm gonna just sit that in the middle. And I put nutritional yeast flakes. I use some chili lime seasoning on them as well. They love it. They gobble it up. So I would do that. And if for something that is a pickly kind of taste, this is the most simple pickling method you will ever use. And I think the healthiest because lime juice will pickle something, right? Lime and a little bit of salt. So I took some radishes, which they will not eat if I don't do them this way. And so I put a little bit of lime juice and some salt to your taste. And you just let it sit for about 5 minutes or less. And these are so delicious. They actually taste like little pickles.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so yummy. The last thing that I want to show you that I'm gonna put on this beautiful board that looks like, man, I don't know if somebody would eat this, but your kids would, I'm telling you. My kids eat it and they're picky. And it's supposed to be something that's really good for balancing your mood as well. These are Brussels sprouts, and I've also roasted these. You don't have to roast them. You can do them stovetop if you like. And I just tossed them when they were done roasting. I tossed them in a bit of balsamic glaze that is sodium free. That I think you brought some to me, Doc, when you came to do a show with me. You brought me some of the most amazing salt-free balsamic, and this is what I'd have for them when they come through the door. And you have all these vegetables that were really, really easy. You could throw them in the oven really quickly. And they love soups. So I take advantage of soups that you can just throw in a blender and have it done that quickly. But this bowl is so deep that I'm gonna pile it high so I can show you how pretty it is to put a little bit. That's my soup. Can you see it? Hold it up. I see that soup, and I'm gonna let my goldfish swim in the soup. And when they come home, and you can even take a little bit of, if you like sour cream, or you could do a little bit of coconut. I like coconut. I don't know, everybody's not a fan.
I love it.
And I would put just a little bit more basil. I'm trying to teach my kids to make food really pretty. And so I really take the time to serve it to them in this way. And I noticed for Mother's Day, I got repaid back for the time that I spent in presentation because they made me a very pretty breakfast too. So that's it. That's the soup.
Oh, wow.
The goldfish, the yummy goldfish. And this is the beautiful board Can you see
Oh,
that?
love that. Love that. Love it. All right. So I have to say this, right? So growing up, my dad always was the last one at the table eating. He would savor the meal and he would just smile and he'd let everything absorb. So I'm gonna take a few moments to savor what I've just heard you say and what I've heard you, I've seen you prepare to get, you've gone through it in a true form, like a mother and a business person and everything, and just very methodical. But I'm gonna take us back just a few moments, right? So one of the things that's powerful that you first brought up when you're making the goldfish. So first of all, listen, those of you without sin cast the first stone. All of us probably have had some form of goldfish or chips or something in our lives. And so what you just threw down right there is beyond phenomenal as a version of what we've had to help us transition and be able to eat healthier of real foods. But here's the key. What you talked about in terms of like the pepper, in terms of the turmeric, these are things that we call that are oxygen ORACs, oxygen radical absorption capacity. And what that means is there's free radicals all in our bodies and all in the environment that cause harm. And so when we absorb, when we have spices, they introduce these components that can help fight off these free radicals. And so turmeric is one of these things when we talk about anti-inflammation, these are things that are fighting free radicals. Yeah. So as we have in things like our oregano and the basil and the curry powder filled with turmeric, that these things have power. And so you just demonstrated that inside of the snack. So as you're giving your kids foods, they're helping their bodies fight. And that's power that's laden right there. And then you turn to the chickpeas, right? They're going to be rich, these legumes, these beans, they are rich and they're going to have dietary fibers inside of it, resistant carbohydrates. They're rich and they can help the absorption, decrease cholesterol and help diabetes. And then you flavor them as you roast them with the spices like you can get from Chef Cynthia, right? You give them that spice and that kick, and all of a sudden now you're incorporating the ORACs inside of it. All of these rich spices. So these are the things that are powerful that can help decrease the mental burden, decrease adverse health events. And then you threw in, right, the dark green leafy vegetables. You threw in the lactinate kale. You threw in the dinosaur kale, they like to call it.
Yeah.
Come on now. That's going to have those dense dietary nitrates that can help dilate the endothelium, that lining of the vessels, to help protect and lower the blood pressure. That can now go ahead and help offset heart disease as well as the stroke. Then you threw on top of that, you said, okay, we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to go ahead, we're going to have some fermented stuff. Right? You say, I'm gonna pickle it. So now we're gonna strengthen the microbiome, that whole organism that's living inside your gut that can predict whether or not you're going to be mentally well or mentally ill. That can predict whether or not you're going to be happy or sad. That can predict whether or not your propensities towards disease. And so you said, we're gonna ferment this in a healthy way without all of the latent salt that's there. And then to top it off, then you threw another cruciferous vegetable in terms of like the Brussels sprouts. And now you roasted it to bring out the flavor and threw some balsamic vinegar, which helps heighten the power of it. I'm gonna tell you right there, you've given 1,000-fold an ounce of ounce of prevention is worth a pound of health or whatever it is, whatever the saying goes. Yeah, I mean, you just threw it down right there. You're putting me out of business and your husband out of business. You guys are kicking it up a notch. So thank you for that. That was beyond beautiful right there. Beyond beautiful.
So cool. That, when you're talking, I feel like I'm in church. I have to like hold it back. I want to be like, amen.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, you guys, you don't know what you do to me when I see this food my mouth is watering. I do my whole little time restricted eating, so I haven't eaten yet here in Cali time. I haven't eaten yet. So whenever we do these shows, my mouth is watering, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna make that. I'm like, I gotta go to the store. I gotta get me some of this stuff. So next time, I'm gonna send out this freezer pack thing to you. I want you just to load it up, turn it into FedEx, and it's going to be delivered next day to my doorstep for me for the week.
Gotcha.
Yes, that sounds like a plan. I can't wait until we can do one of these live all together in the same place.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
What's so great about this too is that, again, we've shown how these are ingredients that you have around the house. Like, maybe the wraps, the rice wrappers were different, but you can even do this in a lettuce leaf. You can wrap it up in a lettuce leaf. You can wrap it up in a blanched collard leaf. You know, there's so many different ways to interpret what Heather and I have done. And it's just, I think one of the things that we want to encourage people to do is just experiment.
Yeah.
Try different things. Like Heather, it was great that Heather was talking about that soup. One of the things I love to do is soup. Soups are great because you can put so many things in there, and if you blend it smooth enough,
True.
whoever you're giving it to has no idea what this
That's true.
Oh, yeah, I don't like cabbage, or I don't like broccoli, or I don't, but if you get that thing creamy enough, smooth enough, and not creamy because of adding cream, but like Heather with her blender, with a Vitamix or something like that, just make sure that you blend it really well. And you can add of plant milk at the end of it. But somebody is going to have a completely different experience with a vegetable they may never have eaten had you not prepared it that way.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's good. That's good words, man, because
kids, like you're a mom, so you know that you've got to figure out tricky ways, sneaky ways to get that nutrition into your kids. I mean, I know kids that you can have a piece of lettuce this big and they will taste it. And so they won't eat vegetables.
Yes.
Well, what you're doing is showing how to get those vegetables into that food, into your kid's body with no fight.
So
I'm not saying that it won't always be easy, you know, but as parents and as just anybody who is taking care of somebody. So if you're a wife, you're a mother, you're taking care of yourself, you're single, you have to keep trying things, even if you think that you don't like them. Like Cynthia said, get creative. Do not be afraid to get in the kitchen and become a magician, because so sometimes you got to be a kitchen magician to pull some stuff off that's healthier for you to eat. But man, who doesn't want the results? I mean, I do. I totally want the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that's one of the things I'm always talking about. I've said before, I think on one of our shows, is that, you know, I ask people, do you drink alcohol? Do you drink coffee? Did you love the way it tasted the first time? They said no, but they kept doing it. Why? Because they liked the way it made them feel, right? Even though it may not have been ideal for them. And so the same thing when it comes to foods. Don't give up just because you have one that wasn't quite the flavor. Maybe it didn't have the texture. Try it again once, 2, 3, 4 times before you give up on it. The other thing that's key in what you guys said in terms of blending, and that's one of the targets I have for kids. And Heather, obviously you brought this out, is that soups, smoothies, and salads, right? And so you can blend up the vegetables, the nutrients, and they can't taste it. They can't palate it. And so they see you can change the color by just natural foods. You don't need these food colorings. You can add beets or red cabbage. You can add berries, and all of a sudden the color transforms. And it brings my memory back to, I'm gonna call out my boy who's helping us out behind the scenes, Brian Hardy. Tremendous help in this broadcast. He's with the Healthy Heart Nation nonprofit. They're doing some great things. But I remember we were roommates at Oakwood College. He came out here, helped drive me out here, and my mom always wanted to cook, always wanted to prepare, show love that way. He was like, look, I don't eat onions, I don't eat this, I don't eat this. She blended, pulverized all the seasoning so he could not see it. And he ate it and loved it. So what you say is indeed true. You can fool people into eating healthy. You can trick them into living their best lives, even if they don't know it. So yes.
I love that.
And you know what? Like you said, Heather, you said it's not just kids. It's true. There are adults that don't do vegetables.
Yes.
And I'm amazed when I hear that, but there are people that don't do vegetables. So their health is hanging on by a string. Yeah. This is the way to get that nutrition in. Mm-hmm. You can put black beans in brownies.
Yes.
You know, there's so many different ways. In American culture, we know black beans one way, basically savory. Right. But black beans actually can be used in all types of applications. In one way, is that you get all of that nutrition in a non-traditional way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are awesome tips, man. I'm telling you, I enjoy this show every time we do it. I think I learned something and I take away something, but It's amazing to do this with you guys and to keep learning more. I just want it never to end.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, there's power in this, in what you all present. There really truly is, because you're putting words into application. And that's where the power is showing folks how to do it in a simple way. You make it seem so easy that even someone like me who has two left foot inside the kitchen, I feel as if I can just throw down and I can become a culinary chef. So thank you all for what you do on a daily basis and what you share with people, giving back, because it's all about what's your reason for it, right? It's love. You can feel the love. You can feel the passion from both of you guys. And so I thank you. It's an honor to be here with both of you guys. And so I want to give the last word to you two before we end this show in this segment here.
Well, I just want to show off my plating. I just want to show off my yeah, these are let me show you what they look like inside once you cut them.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I wish my kitchen scale in my mouth.
And
Love
this
it.
can actually go on your charcuterie board, Heather. These could go on there.
Perfect. I'm gonna try it this week, and I'll be sure to tag you. I have to go and look for some rice paper.
Yeah, you can find it anywhere. I love I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it, but I'm somebody who gets a hankering for goldfish every now and then. So your recipe.
Keep it real, keeping it real, keep it real. That's right. That's right.
Let's just be 100% clear. I probably would never be making goldfish if I didn't have these allergic kids who, I just didn't want them to miss out on it. I was like, everybody should have goldfish.
Yes.
Yeah, I like goldfish. Yeah, me too. I have somebody who wants to say hi. Come say hi. So this will be my parting words. And even though it is 2:00, this guy, hi, everybody, Charlie. Hi. Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
How are you going to be shy now?
Right. He's 8. I need to put him down. He's totally not a baby. So, yeah, he's going to make way with the gold.
Right there, proof is.
Don't give up on you. You are worth the investment. You're worth the extra time that it takes you to make these things in the kitchen. You're worth it. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine yesterday, and I have been known for not doing a whole bunch of self-care because, I still have a lot of time. And I wake up, and she was telling me this routine that her sister does that's like a 8-step routine. Not everybody has time for it, but she was like, for her face, for cleansing her face, and something that she does every day. And she was like, when she asked her sister, like, why do you do that? She said, because I'm worth it. I want my skin to glow. I care about what I put in my body and what I put on my body. So she said, if I don't take the time, everybody has gotten tricked into thinking that things need to be fast.
Yeah.
Everything does not come about fast, and healing does not come about fast. It's all the time. So know that when you're changing your diet over, it will be a process. You may not right away see a difference in weight loss or, your blood pressure, but give it some time and don't give up. You are worth every moment that you put into preparing a good meal for yourself and reading the ingredients on packages of things when you go shop. Don't just throw things in your basket. Read it. Know what's in it. Don't get it if it's got some things that you can't pronounce on it. Just don't do it. Yeah. And that's my words, my parting words.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Appreciate it. This was a kid tested, mom approved segment here today. Charlie proved it. He showed us what's up with that. And so once again, take time to assess your situation, invest in the business of you, right? This is what this is about. So assess, right? And prepare and execute. That's what you have to do. And so this is what these ladies are showing you. We can't wait to see you next time. And we're going to bring you more food, cooking up health just for you. This is Columbus Batiste saying goodbye. And to my counterparts, the chefs, Heather and Cynthia, thank you all once again for what you do.
Bye.
All right.